Thank you for tuning in to the Growing SLOcal Podcast. In this week's episode, we are joined by Riana of Green Omen Apothecary.
Welcome to the second episode of the Growing SLOcal Podcast. I am here today with Riana. She is the owner of Green Omen Apothecary in Atascadero. And I'm very excited to have you. After having been to your business a few times to enjoy drinks and take a look at the other great stuff you sell. I think that what you offer is really unique and special to this area. So thank you for coming on and being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. It's super exciting.
Yeah, for sure. So I know that you recently celebrated your first year in business.
You did.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Big milestone.
Yeah, huge milestone. It's tough opening up your own business in general, nonetheless, making it a year and growing like you have.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about your first year in general? You know, what are some things you learned? What are some things you're happy about?
Oh my goodness. I don't know if this podcast is long enough for that.
We can do more than one episode.
I have learned so much. I worked in a corporate industry and did that for 20 years right out of high school. Was really good at it. It paid the bills. I kept getting promoted and just got stuck. Was never passionate about it ever. Got to the point where, you know, I would wake up in the morning and just like cry to my husband and was just like, my skin is crawling at the thought of having to go back to that job. And not because it was a bad job or a bad company or, you know, I had a great team under me, but it just, I didn't have the passion for it. And I knew I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing in life. And the previous owner of this space, she had invited me into her space to put up a little apothecary. And a few months after that, she had told me, you know, I'm going to close the space and you're going to have to pick up your herbs. And, you know, I'm sorry. And just something inside me told me like, no, I'm not. You know, no, I'm not going to have to pick up my herbs. And I didn't know why, but I was just in no hurry and was just kind of like, that's not the answer. That's not where this is going. And
cool.
So then a couple weeks later, I was just like, went to my husband. I'm like, hey, I have a crazy idea. What if we took over this space? And the whole thing turns into my apothecary. And he's crazy enough to support my ideas and was like, yeah, let's do it. So all that to say, I literally came from doing small businesses on the side my entire life, just little small ones, into having a brick and mortar. And was just determined to figure it out. And I still am. I'm still figuring it out. But so far, it's a roller coaster. I have great months where I'm just like, I can do this. You know, I'm serving my community. I'm being well accepted. And then there's other months it's just like, what am I doing? Like, do I know what I'm doing? And I'm sure that's the same story for a lot of new businesses. But yeah, the biggest thing that I've learned is that such a small community can accept something that's different. I was really worried about that, how I was going to be accepted in a mostly conservative town. And, you know, while I've had some rocks, you know, some bumps along the way, mostly, I mean, my cutting ceremony for my first year was just overwhelming. Had all these people there and did the ribbon cutting, turned around to say a speech and just instantly started bawling my eyes out, seeing all the faces of all the relationships that I've built with all of these people, and just the support was just so overwhelming.
Yeah, it all kind of flies by you while you're doing it and while you're working every day, and you go through those highs and lows of success and worrying about the future. And then on one single day, all of the stuff that you forget about while you're worrying about what's to come is just there. And they're like, we love what you did. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
It's really special, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. You said that perfectly. Yeah, it was awesome. My dream has just been accepted and grown from the community. It's so great.
Yeah. Well, they should love your business because I love your business. No, I can't talk for anybody else, but yeah, that's great. Congratulations again, and here's to many more years.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I can cheers.
Oh yeah, let's cheers.
I can cheers. Okay, you said mix it first.
Yeah, it's probably melted a little bit.
All right.
Brought the holy rose for you.
So yeah, tell us what's in this.
So this is one of my mocktail elixirs. It is made out of Tulsi, which is holy basil. That's the tea in it. So then I put some lemon juice in there, and then my simple syrup that I make at the shop is made out of rose petals. So
Tulsi, lemon juice, and rose petals.
Yes.
Cool. Well, thank you. Cheers.
Yes, cheers.
Ooh, that's delicious. It's got kind of like there's like a kind of like a warming amaretto or orange kind of flavor.
Yeah, totally. So Tulsi is very, it's like a very warming taste. It's kind of like cinnamon. It's like a hot taste.
Yeah. Wow. That's really good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
That's a major perk of having you on the show.
Yeah. It wouldn't be right if I didn't bring some tea.
Mm-hmm. Did you try yours, Miguel? Is it good? Yeah. Awesome. Well, you got 3. You're a yes for you.
Yeah, I'm a yes. I count as 3.
There you go.
That's funny.
So this is it where the magic happens or where the magic started?
This is just so I create my own blends in this space, but I also invite other people to come in and just pour their own herbs with my assistance. And I always encourage people, if you don't know about an herb, the best way to learn about it is to experiment it. Come in, get a little bit of it, make some tea, decide what it tastes like. How it feels in your body, if you have any interactions with it. And so, yeah, I just wanted to provide a space and have all these herbs in bulk so that people like me, or, people who are just dipping their toe in and can come and just make their own mixture. Yeah.
So when it comes to herbalism as a practice, kind of break down for everybody who doesn't know how you help people determine what herbs they should be trying in teas, what kinds of conditions you help people with, or just the overall nature of herbalism. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Because that's what happens here. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. So herbalism, it's funny, it's called alternative medicine now, but it was actually the original medicine. And now we have pharmaceuticals have kind of taken that over in the Western. So herbalism has been around for thousands and thousands and thousands of years before it could even be documented. And so my goal is I have a little bit of a rebellious nature in me. So that's kind of what got me into, other than just being intuitively drawn to herbs, it got me into like, oh, how can we push the envelope here? How can we find other ways of healing ourselves and supporting ourselves? And I just kind of ran with that. But I'm not a doctor, so I can't, if you come in and say, I have headaches, I can't say, here's a prescription, this will make you better. But I can definitely teach you about the herbs that I know that may help support your headache, or try to figure out what's causing that headache. A lot of the time when we go to the doctor, it's here's a pill to help your symptoms, and it's not getting to the root cause of what's going on. And so I like to question people and, why do you have headaches? Are you sleeping? Do you have stress? And most people are willing to talk to me about it, which is, crazy. Cause I always think like, oh, people are going to be like, this is too sensitive, But,
none of your business.
Right. Yeah. And so I like to dig a little deeper and get them thinking, because that's how I started is, you have to think deeper. Like, why do I feel like this? What is causing this? And sometimes the answer is you need to eat better. It's just that, like, herbs are not going to cure you. Like, you need to change your lifestyle, but herbs can definitely support a healthy lifestyle, and they can help specific issues. Like, I have the brain fog mixture, which I use all the time because I have ADHD and it's hard to focus sometimes. So most of these recipes that you'll see in the shop were created by my need. And I realize that so many other people have that same need. And so, so that's what I'm out here doing, is just to teach people that, hey, like, these plants are here for us. Let's learn how to use them.
Helping people enhance their lives with naturally occurring things around them.
Right.
Herbs.
Right.
Yeah. I think that it's an interesting time to be alive, because at least the feeling that I get is our traditional view on modern medicine, which is kind of a weird thing to say. It's a traditional view on something modern. Mm-hmm. But it's not working for everybody anymore.
No.
And I think what you mentioned a little bit ago about having to change your lifestyle and utilizing these as enhancers or supplements to making better decisions about your health.
Absolutely.
Is like, that's a huge thing. Like, it is possible to be well and be natural, but it takes some effort on your part. And
absolutely,
naturally, not everything is going to work for everybody. Mm-hmm. But a lot of what I've come to understand medications to be are things that occur in nature the majority of the time. Mm-hmm. And we figure out the specific components of the thing that occurs in nature, and then we isolate it, and then we figure out what it does when metabolized by the human body or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then it does said thing to help with said problem. Well, we can look at whole foods or herbs or specific teas, tinctures, the same way.
Totally.
Right.
Totally. Yeah.
Cool.
Got it. Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Well, you were talking about the other area in your store where there's a bunch of different herbs and supplies to make teas or mixtures, and here it is.
You know what I'm noticing, Scott, is how empty those jars are. I need to refill them.
That's good. That's good. That means a lot of people love your stuff.
Yeah, I know it's getting used. That's good. So I think I have about 45 to 50 herbs here, and that is just a little bit. But when I first opened the shop, it was really important to me to only sell the herbs that I knew and that I could speak to, and that if somebody came in and asked a question about one of them, I could talk to them about it without feeling nervous that I didn't know what I was saying. And so this wall will grow. It has grown, and I have a lot of other herbs in the back, but it's more of like, I'm still experimenting with them as well. But I think that's important is, as an herbalist, is to just know what you're offering, know how it can, it metabolize in somebody's body. Yeah. And you just kind of like test it out, and how does it work for me? How can it help somebody else? So, so this wall will grow, but I think about 50 here.
Yeah. And you've got a lot of stuff there that, so where do you get your bulk herbs from? If I can ask, if you can't tell me, you can, that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a supplier here in California and Sacramento area. They have been in business for over 50 years, and they get their supply all over the world. So it's a company that I trust. I just have a good feeling about them. There are some other ones that I'll order from if this company's out, or, you know, but this company specifically, it's just, I went with my gut, and it's not the popular choice. But they're really big on sustainability and fair trade, and everything I offer is organic. That's really important to me as well. So, so locally, kind of, but they get it all over the world.
Got it. And here you have some herbs that are used commonly in supplements also. Like you have turmeric, you have ginkgo, ginger, elderflower, elderberry, chamomile, cinnamon. You know, these are all things that people take as supplements to help them with specific things, like turmeric with inflammation, ginkgo with memory and recall, right. Cinnamon with inflammation and, digestive issues. Yep. Same with ginger.
Elderberry. I just made some elderberry syrup for my daughter yesterday.
Yeah. For, cough and sniffles or immune boosting. Yeah. So this just goes on to kind of demonstrate a lot of those things that you're buying OTC, you could try making a tea out of them first.
Absolutely.
And seeing what happens, because the absorption's a little bit different, isn't it?
It is different. A main thing about that too is, when you take a pill, and, nothing against that. I mean, I take supplements too, but it's, you can't control how much you're taking. The pill has a specific amount. And so, loose herbs like this allows you the ability to, test it out. If you want it stronger, if you want it, less, you can do that. But you can also grind all these up and make your own. I've done that.
Like your own capsule?
Yeah, you can make your own capsules.
Do you sell capsules?
I don't.
Okay.
No, just make them for myself.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, so if customers come in and they say, hey, my joints are giving me issues, would you then, go back here with them and say, these are a few things that people have used to help with inflammation or joint problems, and here's kind of a tea that you can make? Or do you have one that's already made for common issues?
So while I do have my blends, it doesn't cover everything, obviously, but if we're going with the inflammation thing, it depends on what the situation is. Sometimes, I'll walk them over here and I'll say, hey, these are the herbs that can help you. A lot of the time it'll be a deeper conversation with, have arthritis, I'll ask questions like that. And a really important question always is, are you taking any other medication? Because I want to make sure that there's no interactions. I'll sometimes just walk them over here, but sometimes I'll tell them, hey, give me however much time I think I need. If it's something more specific or something I'm not familiar with, I need to make sure that I study it a little bit before I can recommend anything. But again, it's a little tricky because herbs aren't regulated. And so it's, I have to always say, this might help you. I can't say like, this is going to help your inflammation. I can say, research shows that this helps with inflammation, but
studies suggest.
Often I'll say, do your own research, and that's important. And you should be doing that with pharmaceuticals too.
Yeah. I definitely agree. One thing that I got used to growing up was just using drug interaction checkers.
I do that too.
Because it's always better to be safe than sorry.
Right.
And my mom and my grandma always said, read the package. So I just grew up saying,
that's good.
Okay, well,
most people aren't like that.
Guess I need to look something up about this.
Me and my ADHD, I'm just like skim reading real fast, looking for keywords.
I don't know what that's called, but it's got 2,978 calories.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So tell me about these.
So these products are from one of my local vendors. She sells in a few places, but really really passionate about her brand and how she makes her products. She makes them herself. She distills. And so this is just a good example of the type of vendors I love to hold in the shop, because either one, I'm trying to give them a space to kind of break out. I have some vendors in there that aren't selling anywhere else. And I'm also an artist. And so when I opened up a space, it was really important for me to find local makers and give them a space to sell and get out, get their products out. And so, you'll find I have a bunch of local goods around the shop, and that's really, I'm very passionate about that. Very strong.
Cool.
Yeah.
So these are candles and oils
so
and sprays.
Natural candles and hydrosols and essential oils, some gift sets. But the line that she has here, the True Self, is all about it's aromatherapy, but it's also a little spiritual. How can plants work with your spiritual nature as well?
Yeah. Everything out there has the potential to elicit some kind of response from you. So
absolutely,
it's another way to find different things that can help you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same here. Got some facial products here. So another local maker. And then we have Hambly here too, which love to support them. They're great people. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I have relationships with these local makers. They become friends of mine, and that's just super. It's a bonus, super special. So
yeah. So you enjoy carrying local products, and you try
absolutely.
to carry as many as you can, or do you only have limited space?
Yeah, there's a balance that I've learned, that just part of the learning how to do a brick and mortar. But yeah, I don't make the shop doesn't make as much off of local goods. So that's something that I have to keep in mind for the business, is even though it is one of my highest passions of having a brick and mortar to hold these, I also have to limit the amount of vendors that I hold at a time, because it's just business, unfortunately.
Yeah. I certainly understand that, but it is good that you try to carry as many varied local products that you have agreeance with.
Mm-hmm.
You'd never carry anything in your store that you don't believe in.
Oh no. No, I've turned some people away just because it doesn't fit. Just my goal there. But yeah.
What is your goal?
My goal. That's a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah, my goal is just to, like I said, just to bring honestly, what it comes down to is nature. Let's bring nature back into our lives. So like this local maker, she gets her seaweed out of the ocean. She has a permit to do so, but it's that raw. She does it here in the county, and
really,
yeah. So she's bringing that in. Hambly, they have their own lavender farm, so they're putting that in their products.
It's literally it
is. Mm-hmm. And then even I have a local maker that makes rings out of stones that he finds in the country. He goes to miners and he buys them, and then he makes them into rings, and so that's nature. Crystals and stones, those have their own healing properties, and so I think. I have somebody who makes the ceramics, who makes the teacups and stuff. Beautiful artist. But you're working with clay. It's like everything that I sell in the shop, I think about how can this help either physically or spiritually, and connect us back to the earth.
Yeah. And it supports your message and your overall goal of exposing more people to helpful, natural things.
Yeah.
Like, period.
Right.
And delicious natural things.
Yeah. The drinks are, I don't know if we're ready to go into this, but the drinks were just a way for me to get people's attention because, herbs can be scary if you don't know about them. And it was kind of like, a latte is not scary. You see lattes at a coffee shop all the time. And, so, hey, let me make some lattes, but I'm going to use herbs in there and people are going to ask questions and I get to talk to them about it. But if they see on the window that it just says, that we're serving lattes and mocktails, like that in itself is just it's an herbal shop. What are they making here? What is that? And so that was my way to get people in without being intimidated. And it's turned into this much bigger thing than I thought it ever would be.
So the drinks started as a way for you to promote accessibility into the kind of natural care that you want Green Omen Apothecary to represent.
Yeah.
And it just kind of, grew its own wheels and sped off.
Totally. It was an afterthought, honestly. It was like,
really?
I'm going to have this apothecary. I'm going to sell these herbs. And then it was like, how do I get people in here that don't know about herbs? Yeah. And then it was just another thing where it's like, I'm making my own concoctions at home. These are delicious. I'm sure other people will like them,
You were
and
right.
Then, thank you. And so I created this menu, one drink at a time. Some of them are inspired by other drinks, like the lavender chai. Obviously that's not an original thought, but it was like, how can I make this mine? And then I started making my own simple syrups with the herbs. And it was like, okay, this is truly crafted by me. It's not just throwing some ingredients together. It's, I'm creating the syrup. And if you order a drink in there, you can see me. I'm creating the drink behind the counter is like, there's a lot of intention that goes into it.
So every drink you make now, with the addition of these simple syrups that you're now creating also, is a wholly crafted by Riana experience.
Absolutely. Like I said, like the lavender chai is like, everybody can do that. But I would say like 90% of my drinks are literally just came to me, or I was just experimenting and thought, hey, people are going to like this. And it provides physical benefits too. Yeah. So, people can come in and say, I'm having a stressful day. Is there anything that'll help me with that? And I'm like, yeah, this blue moon here is really calming. So this will probably help you.
Yeah. Yeah. And golden moon too, right?
Yeah.
That was a great one.
In it. Yeah.
And then that brain fog one that you were mentioning earlier that has ginkgo, goku kala, and
it's got a lot of things in it.
Ashwagandha.
It does have ashwagandha.
So it's got adaptogens. It's got lemon things balm to help with your memory, lemon balm to help not make you as edgy. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. ADHD, there's a lot of scary pharmaceuticals being offered to help with that. And that was not an option for me. I tried it, didn't work. And so I was like, something's got to help. And as I started studying herbs, I was like, no, this stuff does help, So yeah, brain fog's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet. Well, it's really cool that what started as a way to get people through the door has become sort of like, a 50-50 share of your business, or would you say that it's slightly more?
It's more. They're my biggest sellers for sure. Wow. Those the bags of recipe, the blends that I do. Okay. And then crystals, believe it or not. People are looking for crystals all the time.
People love your rocks and your herbs.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, so those are my blends.
And so these are all blends that you created specifically in your store. Yeah. With different intentions behind them, right?
Yep. Yeah. I'm out of the Sleep Suite, but that is my biggest seller. That's why I'm out. No, that's the biggest seller in town. So that one obviously works. People come back for that one and brain fog the most.
What does Sleep Sweet have in it?
Sleep Sweet. Oh goodness. So that has valerian, it has vervain, it has lemon balm, a little bit of lavender. So what the intention behind that was to treat the nervous system, because it's usually why people can't fall asleep is because your mind is racing. And so if you treat the nervous system to relax, then the rest kind of follows. And then I put, passion flower in there too. So those things, the vervain and the passion flower will help you relax, and be prepared for sleep is what I tell people. It's not like melatonin where it's going to make you all drowsy and, you're worried, you're stumbling to bed kind of thing. It's okay, let's get ready for sleep kind of thing.
Where you feel like now you're ready to rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
The mind stops racing and you're just kind of calm and ready to sleep. Your natural state is what it's trying to help you get to.
Yeah, I used to never be able to do that. Until recently. Like I've finally felt like I can fully relax again after like years of just like being a wound up tension disaster.
Yeah, lifestyle choices is what I tell people too. It's like I said, herbs aren't going to fix everything. You have to look at how you're living your life, what your stresses are, what you can get rid of.
For sure. But Sleep Sweet will help relax you and help your body prepare to sleep.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I tell people.
Cool.
And then we have the dream tea, which is, sometimes people ask, like, what's the difference? So that's relaxing also, but that's more for having prophetic dreams.
Okay. Yeah. So if you know how to lucid dream, you could have some dream tea.
Yeah.
And go figure out what's wrong with your life.
Yeah. I tell people, journal while you're drinking the tea and set the intention. And if you have questions or you need some answers to things, then have that intention when you're drinking it. And then first thing in the morning, make sure you journal again.
Dream tea.
Yeah, dream tea.
Maybe I'll try that one out.
Yeah, it's fun.
That sounds interesting. My buddy Matt can lucid dream on his own.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that he would
stay away from that one.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he'd be like, yeah, cool. Let's see if it does anything good. But he's also a therapist now, and he helps people with end of life stuff.
Oh yeah.
But he was always into on command lucid dreaming. He said that it was his favorite thing that he ever learned how to do.
That's cool.
Because your dream is what you want it to be.
Yeah. Does he want to teach a class at the shop?
I'm gonna get back in contact with him now that I'm back in the area, and I really want him to do workshops and teach people some of the things that he knows.
Bring him here.
Bring him here. Yeah, I know. I would love to have Matt on this show. That'd be great. He's a great guy to talk to. Speaking of crystals.
Yeah.
So why do you think crystals are such a good seller for you right now?
I mean, it's kind of in the last, I would say 10 years, people have been, reaching for some type of support, going through COVID and stuff, that period, I feel like plant sales and crystal sales probably went up. I know I bought more during that time too.
Because you're freaking out and you're looking for
support.
Literally anything that will help you feel better.
And you're looking for grounding, and what better way to get grounded than use something that literally came out of the ground. And so crystals just have different properties, and they're fun. They're really fun. I have a collection that, I don't always use them individually, but they're beautiful. Kids love them. Oh my God, my daughter's almost 3 and she's obsessed. She has her own little collection already.
Cool.
But I mean, think about it. When you're a kid, you love rocks. So here's some polished, beautiful rocks.
Yeah.
They don't need to know about the properties behind them. But everybody loves rocks, I feel like. It's funny. Somebody that worked for the city, and I won't name him, but he's pretty high up there at the city building in Atascadero. But he was walking by the shop one day, and I almost literally ran into him because I went to pick up my sign that was on the sidewalk. And he goes, oh, hey, I've been meaning to come in. And I'm like, yeah, probably not, but that's okay. He was being nice, and he was like, what do you sell here? And so I told him, I have herbs and, just describing some things. And I said crystals, and he was like, oh yeah, I'm not really into that. And I'm like, oh really? What's on that? And what's on your hand? Like, what's that ring made out of? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's turquoise. Oh, is it? Where'd that come from? And so starts talking about his grandpa, and I'm like, so that, sir, is considered a crystal, and like that's more of what I sell in the shop. And then it wasn't so scary, it's like the whole herb thing. It's like, oh, okay, like that's not that scary.
No, and crystals aren't scary.
I mean, just to like I said, we live in a conservative town.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. You don't want to be one of those crystal
right
people.
Woo woo. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't really experience any of that, because for instance, you mentioned grounding earlier, where you're attaching your psychological presence to something that's real and here to help bring you back out of wherever you are at the time. Mm-hmm. But also, meditating with an object or doing some self-therapy with an object, it helps get some of the energy out into the object. Mm-hmm. So it's not trapped inside of you.
Which that has been around for thousands and
exactly.
thousands of years.
I mean,
too.
What is exercise?
Right.
It's your body going through
Release.
A pretty crazy process, but it's a transference of energy from you onto another object.
Yep.
So there's something to be said for an inanimate object helping somebody out, and it not being a weird thing. That's why we have keepsakes. It's why we like souvenirs. It's because it's a reflection of a point in time. And if you want to use a crystal that way, then you can dump whatever you need out into the crystal, and it can be somewhere else, so it's not in you anymore.
For sure, yeah.
So crystals aren't weird, and you should buy some rocks. buy some rocks from Riana. Let's see here. And are these the rocks you were the rings you were telling about?
No, they're similar to that, but no, I think you did have a picture of them, but those aren't. I mean, those are rings with stones in them, but that's not from the local maker.
Yeah, and I bought one of your gem bracelets. Yeah, I bought your garnet one.
It's a good one.
And I really like the size of the stones on it. Yeah.
It's like the medium one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The big bulky ones are kind of hard.
Yeah. I might get some of those for my neck.
Yeah, we have the mala beads with the bigger beads on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was reading a little bit about mala. So what do you do with one of those?
They're like prayer
necklaces?
beads. Yeah, they're like what everybody knows what a rosary is. But mala beads are really cool. You just go around and if you have a prayer or an intention, you count the beads and you kind of repeat the same thing for each bead, and then you do that for however long you feel like you need to. I've done it for a month straight. I did it at least 5 days a week for the month. That's all I could commit to. But yeah, and really, if nothing else, it's just you're putting that intention and you're being you're just being intentional about your prayer, and you set that time aside to really focus on that. And so mala beads are a great way to do that.
It helps you work through things.
Yeah.
Or reaffirm things.
Absolutely.
Because think about how many times you walk around your house repeating a phrase to yourself in your head.
Yeah, it's like affirmations.
Probably do it all the time.
Right.
Like when you're trying to remember where you put something, you're like, that's where I put the hand soap. That's where I put the hand soap. These are a bit more helpful.
At a different level.
Not that basic, but when you tell yourself things all day and never give it an end point, sometimes it can just stay inside of you and repeat itself. This probably helps you get it out into something else so that you feel less bogged down, right?
Yeah, that could be helpful too. But I feel like, having a prayer and setting the time and the intention and being disciplined about giving it that space and that time really empowers it. And that can go for any type of religion or belief.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that you sell these types of things. I really do, because especially if you take the time to talk to somebody about it and they can really explain its intended use to you. And then, if you happen to find value in that, you can go and you can try it. And if it really works out well for you, then great.
Yeah.
It did its job.
Absolutely.
Sort of like you said about the ring snapping in half and how apparently that meant that I was done with the ring.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens a lot. I mean, I've had a bracelet break on me literally in the middle of nothing. I wasn't even touching anything. It just literally broke off of me. The beads went everywhere. I panicked because I loved that bracelet. And I found myself, like trying to pick them all up and put them in a cup. And then I was just like, I realized like, oh, it's done its job. I don't need to keep this. Yeah, sometimes you just have to let go. And it's kind of like maybe the intention of why I got it in the first place, why I felt that I needed it, had to run its course, and I don't need that anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild to think about. These are tall candles.
Candles, yeah. Everybody likes candles. These are pillar candles. Yeah. They're ritual candles, so they have different purposes on them. They're made with the intention of, one is for abundance and one is for clearing and spirituality and problem solving. And it's just another tool.
Yeah.
Those are them.
These are the ones that you were talking about.
Those are them.
Okay, so tell me about this.
So this maker I met at a maker's market. That I did here in Paso, and was just taken back by what he had to offer. And he had a ton of them. And I was just like, how did you make all these? So these rings and bracelets. And he told me that he went through a nasty divorce and just needed something to focus on, something new, a new hobby. And he said he had a ring from his grandfather that ever since he was young, he always looked at it and wondered how it was made. And so he did some research and eventually tried his hand at one and was like, hey, I can actually do this. And it just blew up, and his stones are gorgeous. He gets them all from our country. He buys most of them from the miners themselves. He's got opals and turquoise and jade and all the things. And I like couldn't help myself when he like put the spread out. I was like, this one, I'm like trying to choose different sizes and what I think would appeal to different people. And I was, I feel like I overpicked, but he was just like, no, let's do it, Yeah. So yeah, I'm the first store that he's selling his stuff in, and that's super exciting for me.
Yeah. I mean, the pieces look great. Yeah. And even better in person. So if you're at Green Omen, go make sure you look at this case, because the work is really impressive.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's the same shop, but with some candles and other stuff.
Some tea stuff.
Do you have anything special to say about these different ones?
About half of those are a little more.
Mugs.
Oh yeah,
those
so it's made out of
good.
It's made out of a clay called dragon fruit, and so the outside is not painted at all. There's no, it's raw. So that's just how it looks, and it's gorgeous. It's just like that speckly, like white and black. But yeah, so she made these. This is another local maker of mine. Also met her at a maker's market. And she makes amazing things. I mean, I wish I could carry her other stuff in here because she's a crazy good artist. But yeah, she sells her drinking vessels in my shop. I feel super honored to have her stuff in there.
Yeah, and those ones in particular, they had such a nice weight to them. They really felt like a solid cup.
Oh, yeah.
That you would use for like a nice drink.
Yeah, it's scary having her stuff in there because I've bought like
You don't
4
want
of
to
them.
break any. Oh, it's scary because
Yeah.
you wind up blowing your own.
Yeah. Oh
money.
yeah. I have a bunch of them, and when she brings more in, I'm like, okay, Riana, keep it together. You have enough mugs, which I think everybody says that, but you still get more mugs.
Yeah,
right?
you'll still see that one mug that calls out to you, and you'll say, "What's the harm in having another one?"
Right.
And then you've got the loose leaf steeping balls,
Yeah.
teaspoons, tea to go infusers.
Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah,
Those are real
I
fun.
recommend if you love tea and you really wish that you could have your specifically designed loose leaf tea that you spent 6 years refining the recipe on before Tivana went out of business.
Speaking from experience.
You, unfortunately, you too can have that tea on the go.
More local makers.
More local makers and wicked lovely candles.
Yeah.
Now, the first time I encountered wicked lovely candles, I was at the Makeshift Muse at Tooth and Nail
Nice.
probably 2 months ago.
Oh, really? So just
Yeah,
new.
and
Just new to her.
I could not believe what I was seeing, with the crystals that are in the wax, like the dried fruit that's like stuck
yeah.
halfway out of the
Yeah.
candle.
She's
Like
quite
it's
the artist.
really cool.
Yeah.
How long have you been selling her candles, and what kind of partnership do you guys have?
So she randomly came in one day with a friend. Her friend brought her in and was like, "You need to see this place. Like, you would love this place." And finally she came in, and I didn't realize I had followed her already on Instagram. And so she started talking about this story, and I was like, "Oh yeah, how do I know that?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I think I already follow you." So anyway, I told her, like, "You should sell your candles in my shop. I would love to have your stuff." She's like, "Yeah, that'd be cool." Months went by. I didn't hear from her. I went to a maker's market in SLO and came around the corner and saw her. And I was like, "Listen here. Remember me?" I'm like, "You're getting your stuff in my shop. Like, let's do this." And so she laughed and she's like, "Yeah, let's do it." So, love to have her stuff. I love her story. She's so passionate about what she does, and she's so great at expressing that to the buyer, and I'm always amazed at her. I love just watching her do her thing because she's so inspiring.
Yeah, she was really jazzed at how cool I thought the candles were. And I think she was there with somebody else who was also pretty excited by it. And when you see them in person, you'll know what there is to be excited about, because they're fantastic. Okay. Let's see. Oh, and here's a better shot. I was like, I hope I have a better shot.
Yeah, she actually made me my own custom blend. So that's the Green
Oh,
Omen.
I didn't even know.
It's the Green Omen.
It says
and it
the
was
Green Omen.
just based on what I feel like the shop embodies. And it's honestly my favorite,
That's
obviously.
so cool.
But it's very
a little
earthy.
biased.
Yeah,
That's okay.
It's very earthy and floral. And it's beautiful.
Love it. And then,
Yeah,
now we're back towards the beginning. So I guess the question that I want to ask you is, where would you like to see Green Omen Apothecary, in the reasonably near future? Like, let's say within like the next 3 years, what would be really cool for you? What are you hopeful about?
I would love to get into collaborations with other businesses. I have a little bit here and there, but it's just, I love the thought of collaborating with somebody else who's creating, like, why not join forces? And so any opportunity to do that is really exciting for me. I'd love to get my stuff online so I can get out there to the rest of the country. So I'm working on that behind the scenes as well. But yeah, just creating more drinks and just being there for the community, holding all the events that I have. Every month we have something different going on, and just how can I support the community and get the community to be involved? be involved
That's
in the
right.
business.
Yeah, you have lots of those events and workshops.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't mentioning them earlier. I'm sorry.
No.
For those of you who don't know, Riana hosts workshops and events at Green Omen. You have one coming up on the 22nd. I don't know if this episode will be out by then, but if it is, you should go.
Mocktail elixir experience. So I'll teach you about some herbs and how to use them and make mocktails out of them, and you can take them home and either drink them as mocktails or put some alcohol in it or whatever, make it a cocktail. But yeah, it's fun. I've done one of those before. It sold out, and everybody was just excited to make their own creation and feel empowered to use herbs at home.
So if you're a customer, you're new to Green Omen Apothecary, make sure that you check out all of the events going on, the events they've had and the events they will have. If you're a creator and you'd like to collaborate with a local business, with a business owner who's really enthused about giving good natural products to everyone who walks into her shop, then you should contact Riana too for a collab opportunity.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining the network. I'm very excited to have you as a part of what I'm trying to do here. And thank you, Miguel, for the studio time, the studio space.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, and we have more to talk about, so I'm going to have you back.
Okay, yeah.
And I'll keep you posted on that. But thanks for tuning in. We'll be back in the next week or so for episode 3.
Thank you for watching or listening. Tune in next Friday for episode 3. As always, rely local, SLO County.